My name is Matt Fleming. If you haven't attended any of our other sessions today, I am a new face to you, but if you've been on a couple of the sessions, hello again. I'm joined now by Zoe Young from Draycir, who are one of our partners, and Zoe is going to take us through credit control with one of their products, Credit Hound, which I'm a huge fan of. If you're an existing Enhance client and Credit Hound is something that you'd be interested in, then please reach out to your account manager. If you want to post some questions, then you've obviously got the question panel down the side. You can go to webinar, drop them in. We won't have time to take questions today, I'm afraid, simply because we've only got 25 minutes. And if you know Zoe, you know she can talk. We'll get away with that one. Yeah, drop those questions in there. And if at the end you haven't got an account manager and you want to reach out to us, then we've got a website, an email address, sorry, which is sayhello@m-hans.com. But I shall be quiet now, and I'll hand over to Zoe to take us through credit control from Draycir. Thanks, Zoe.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Matt. And hello, everyone, and thank you for joining on the session today. As Matt said, we're going to be looking at Credit Hound, which is basically like an advanced credit control. Before we go into the session, just so you know who Draycir are. So Draycir is an ISV, which basically means that we develop add-on solutions for different accounting software. So whether it's GP or Dynamics 365 Business Central, the solution will actually fit into both of those areas. Now, our relationship with Enhance is simply that Enhance are accredited by ourselves, not only to sell the software, but also to install it, support it, and also to configure it as well. So, buzzwords over the last few months, things like furloughed staff, staff working from home. This itself can have a negative effect on the cash flow coming into the business, either because of your business or even your customer's business. And actually, Credit Hound is the one piece of software. So last time we went into a recession, Credit Hound sales, as you can imagine, went through the roof. And this time is absolutely no different as well, because it's all about automated chasing, spending the least amount of money on doing actually what is the most important part of your business. Now, there's lots of reasons why you may have a negative cash flow, a reason why you've got so many people on your aged debtors report. And some of the things can be so simple, such as you can't get hold of your usual contact to chase for payment because they're furloughed, because they're working from home, and because they've changed their hours of working. It might be you just simply cannot get around to contacting everybody that owes you money. Now, that in itself has always been an issue when it comes into credit control. I know more than anyone because I used to be a credit controller 25 years ago, and I remember that being such a problem. The other thing is not having clear visibility of what's previously been chased. And more often than not, it's simply because you're using Excel spreadsheets, they're manually written somewhere, or you're using somewhere in GP to add in the notes, and it's just not really visible, not only to yourselves, but also to the rest of your team as well. So Credit Hound can actually help with every single one of those points. But looking from your customer's point of view, why aren't they paying? It might be something as easy as they just don't have the invoices to hand to know what's outstanding. So actually Credit Hound can also help with that. It might be your customer has cash flow issues. Now, as good as Credit Hound is, we can't help that. But if you're actively chasing all the time, you're going to be one of the first people that know about it. So you're one of the first people that can actually put payment plans in place and start getting at least some money. Whereas if you're not even having those conversations, you're at the back of the list, and the likelihood of you getting payments when they've got cash flow issues are going to be a lot less. It might simply be that your customer isn't paying because they're short of staff, and paying invoices is quite literally the last priority they have. So again, Credit Hound can actually help with all of those sorts of things. Now, the whole idea behind Credit Hound is you can automate chasing letters from the software itself. Now, if I speak to any credit controller, they will get quite nervous about that. So, automatically sending out letters to all my customer base, this could be a nightmare. But actually, you set the rules of when they are sent, and also you can have different rules for different customers. And there's nothing to say you need the whole 100% of your customers being automatically chased. Some people might say, I'm going to use Credit Hound for 80% of my customers. The other 20%, I'm just going to do it manually how I've always done it, just because of the type of customers they are. Even if you're using it for that 80%, literally Credit Hound can just send out these letters automatically without someone even switching on Credit Hound. That's how easy it can be. The other main reason, and I can go back 25 years ago when I was chasing, the biggest excuse for non-payment is I don't have a copy of the invoice. So actually what you can do is attach the invoice along with the chasing letter, then there is no excuse. So we also have another piece of software called Spindle. You may already have it already. And Spindle automatically archives an invoice once it's sent, which actually means later down the line when you actually want to send a chasing letter, it will send the chasing letter and pick up any of the invoices that are also outstanding as well. No excuse for non-payment. So another thing that's really, really changed during the pandemic, and that is taking payments. Literally, people are saying, whichever way you want to pay, we're going to accept. And one way people haven't always done, and that's card payments. So we're seeing a huge difference now with this, especially business to business, not just business to customer, of them actually allowing them to pay by card. And a lot of the time, it's simply because people are asking to pay by card because the person that normally does the backs payment is not there at the minute. And, they've got a business card. They can just make a quick payment, make it a lot easier. So actually, we can integrate a Pay Now button. We could already do it on the invoice, but actually now we can also do it on the Credit Hound chasing letter itself. So if you are my customer and I've sent you a chasing letter, you've got the chasing letters, you know what's overdue, you've got the invoices, and you've got a Pay Now button. What excuse have you got not to pay it? Unless there's a query, there isn't one. Now, the great thing about Credit Hound, because it can automate so much of the credit controller's work, it actually just gives them a to-do list so they know what it is they need to do. Now, that to-do list obviously will remind credit controllers who to call. It will automatically remove any of the reminders, though, once they've been paid. So as soon as the money has come into the business, it's been allocated against the invoice in GP or Dynamics 365 Business Central, it actually removes the reminder in the to-do list. I don't need to know about it because it's already been paid. Every single account from the accounting software will have its own chase screen, which is perfect for any credit controller because I can filter it to see everything that's outstanding. I can see the full chase audit history for each individual transaction. I can follow up with emails within that chase screen as well once I've spoken to someone, and also it has all its own dispute tracking. Now, these two areas here, the chase screen and dispute tracking, they all integrate, of course, with these chasing letters, because one thing I don't want to do is automatically send out a chasing letter. If I've spoken to someone, it will know that because it's in the audit trail, or someone has disputed it or put it in query. So also I want to prevent them from sending a chasing letter. So you don't have to worry that actually you're going to be chasing people too many times because there's lots of rules and actions that you can do. So let's have a look at the actual software itself. So if I go into Credit Hound, there we go. So now this is where I'm going to rely on my colleague Matt. I've just changed my screens into another PC. I just want to check that you can see my screen okay.
I can see a very lovely screen with some activities, some references, some two items.
Perfect. That's fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Matt. There's nothing worse when I'm talking about something you can't see what I can see. So what we're looking at now is actually Credit Hound itself. Every single user will have their own license. Remember, that's really important because there's going to be an audit trail. So for each individual user, I'm going to have an audit trail with my name against it. And I can see who I'm logged in by because it tells me at the top. Now, the dashboard is just simply an overview of either all the accounts coming from the accounting system or just the accounts that I look after on the ledger for me, the credit controller. So we can do either. And it's giving me some dashboard type information, such as how much outstanding debt it is that I'm looking after. When people have promised me cash, that's just from Credit Hound. So I can actually see the money that's coming in. So I've got a nice clear forecast. We can drill into these as well to see exactly where they're coming from. My age debt, it's important for me to see that as a credit controller. Also, where's my money? So I can see a whole overview of what's overdue, what's not due, what's been disputed, which is in Credit Hound, and also what's not been allocated. These are my highest balance accounts. So a real quick snapshot of exactly what's happening. Now, you do get a full accounts list of every single account that I'm looking after, or all the accounts coming in from the accounting software. And you can personalize this to whatever columns you want to see, I can see in there. Now, I have brought through one column here, which is solely for Credit Hound called category. Because if I wanted to categorize my accounts in different ways, you can see here, I've already called these problem. These are my problem payers, and these are the ones I want to be a little bit tougher with. Now, you might already have an indicator in your accounting software that does something similar. If you have, brilliant, let's bring that analysis code through and let's use it. Or if you want to use it in this way here, you can. There's no right or wrong answer to that. So now you've seen that, let's have a look how the rules are created. And this is exactly why people have Credit Hound. These are my rules for my chasing cycle. So just to go through them, first of all, I have a preemptive letter. I'm only going to use these accounts here with problem on that would actually receive that because I want to be a little bit tougher for them. If they still don't pay, I'm going to send them one of my chasing letters. And you can see I have a chasing letter with card payments on there and one without as well. They're at the same level of chase. It's just that I'm categorizing these people differently, depending on either a category here in Credit Hound or analysis code in the accounting software. If they still don't pay, they get a letter too. If they still don't pay, then Credit Hound will provide me with a telephone chasing list so I know who to talk to. So all of these rules, once they're set up, would be on your server. And you would say when you want them to go out. So say here at Draycir, every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 o'clock, these letters automatically get sent out. So we don't actually have a credit controller because we don't actually need one. Credit Hound does that work. I'm not saying for 1 minute now you can make all your credit controllers redundant at all, but for our business, it's not necessary. Credit Hound does its job, so therefore we don't need a specific person for that job. So these letters automatically run and will do the job for us. So if I go into the preemptive letter and just press edit, you'll see how you can actually manage these rules itself. There's two boxes, a criteria and an action. A criteria is what sort of an account and what sort of a transaction do you want to actually chase. So to show you what's in that criteria, there is all sorts of different things. An analysis code, the category. So that's what type of account I want to chase. It might be I want to chase based upon the transaction. So generally, how many days overdue, that's the transaction that I want to chase, for an example. So there's lots of different things in my list. New to this pandemic, I will say, that a lot of people are keeping their eye on credit limits and actually using this to say, actually, if they only have so much % left of their credit limit, can I just send them a letter to let them know? So now all of a sudden using Credit Hound, not for chasing, just to manage your accounts and manage your customers accordingly. So this particular preemptive letter, you can see I'm going to chase them even before it's due. I'm also only going to use the category called problem customers. And I've literally built up all this criteria in here. My action is, if you need it to be, Mainly, it's going to be to send out an email. I've already pre-configured some letters within there. It might be that once I have sent this letter, I also then want to create a reminder 3 days after to follow up, so I can automatically create it. If it gets further down the line, I might want to put the account on stop automatically. And that is the only thing that will go 2 ways into your accounting software, or obviously if you take it off stop, it will also do that 2 ways. Otherwise, all the information retains within here within Credit Hound. Now, even if I was to run this manually, it's still very quick. All I do is press run. There's the list of accounts, press OK. I will see the preview of the actual email it's sending out. And all I have to do is send that to Spindle in order for it to be sent out. And literally, that's it. I've just sent those 2 emails. When we get further up the line, again, all I'm ever doing is pressing run. There's the list. And then I will just literally just send it to Spindle. Even though I'm pressing print, it doesn't mean it's printing. It just means that it's sending it via Spindle to actually see what the automation needs to be. Okay, so even though I've just done that manually, it's still going to be a lot quicker than what you're already doing at the moment. So if you are already, doing this manually, general rule of thumb, it's going to be for, I do apologize, this is Microsoft, this is not our software whatsoever, so just bear with me, it's something to do with Outlook. Clearly there's been an update, a cheeky update first thing this morning that's created that. So you can see here, these are all of my emails already going out to my customers. I've got them going into my draft simply because it's a demo, a real life environment to go straight out to your sent items. Now, yes, I did do those manually and they're now going through. If you imagine if these were set up on your server and you have times for it to go out, these will just automatically go out without you doing anything at all. So having a look at the first email that I actually sent out, you can see Spindle will create the content of the email. It will also have a letter with the finer detail of what it is that you're chasing. So anything at all will be added up within here. I've got my Pay Now button, which can integrate either to SagePay or WorldPay are the 2 merchants that we actually use. So quite simply, your customer can click onto that to make payment. You can have that same Pay Now button on the actual invoice document as well as. But as you'll have probably seen in that email, I've also got the copy of the invoice attached to it. No excuse for non-payment. Anytime that these emails are being sent out, what also is happening is it's actually marking the card in the background so I know that something has been done. So all of those chasing letters against all of those transactions, I will know that the chasing letter's gone out. The last one that I'll do is my telephone chasing letter. And again, all of this can be done so it's automatic. I don't need to press run. So as a credit controller, what will I be doing? So all of that is in the configuration. Quite simply, every morning I'll go to my to-do list and I will literally just have a look at today's date, and that is the work that I need to do today. I don't need to do an age debt reports, etc., because actually this is the work that I need to do today. So it really structures a day for a credit controller on exactly what it is they need to be chasing. As I'm working through the day and any of these pay, they will just simply disappear off my screen. I can reassign any tasks to any other user if I wanted to, or I can simply click into the task that I need to, go into the chase screen, and this is where I will actually make any of the manual notes that I need to. So here you can see at the top, I've got all of my transactions that are outstanding with an audit trail against everything that has an audit. If there's symbols at the side, there's going to be chasing history. There's no symbol at the side, there is no chasing history. So I can actually use this to actually put in any comments, etc., if I wanted to. So I can add any notes I want to within this section just here. This is where they will tell me how much it is they're actually paying and when they're paying. So if they're going to pay next week, fantastic. Let's put that in there. And actually what I can do is follow up with an email, but also it's going to put that reminder in for me. If they'd simply ask for a copy invoice, brilliant. If I already have that invoice archived using Spindle, it will pick it up. Even if I put it against lots of different transactions, it would pick up every invoice. I want to follow up because they've told me a time and date that they're going to pay. It's picked that up here and also how much they're going to pay. And just by sending that by email using Spindle, that's now going to be in their inbox, which is a prompt for them every time they look in their inbox of what it is that they need to pay for. So, you know, that's why Credit Hound works, is because you have that backup of what's been said. So they're not going to forget, because actually it's here's an email, say thanks for talking to me today. That's then the reminder of everything they said. Even though they didn't ask for an invoice, I'm always putting it on there. So actually there's actually going to be no excuse whatsoever. And here's the letter. So Credit Hound, of course, has lots and lots of different features. Literally, I'm just showing you there the main ones that Credit Hound has, and these are all the helpful things as well. Let me just complete that task there just to finish it off, and you'll see what would happen. It disappears off this screen now. I've already chased it. It won't appear in my chase screen again for about at least another 10 days, however I've set up those rules, if they don't pay. Okay. So I'm just conscious of the time, even though I can talk lots and lots and lots and very, very fast, and there's only so much that I can say on today's session. As I say, there are lots more features and things like that. Anyone that's on the call today that's interested in knowing more, then obviously speak to your Enhance account manager. They'll be able to give you costs. So obviously, if you just let them know how many users you're wanting to use the software, and then they'll be able to give you a price for that. Who supports the software? So it's actually the Enhance support team that supports Credit Hound. Likewise for installing of the software, it's an accredited Enhance consultant that will actually do that. So in other words, it's your existing Enhance team that will do all of that. If you want to have a one-to-one demonstration, this can be easily organized through your Enhance account manager. It might be myself that will be doing that as well for you, but literally we can go through your chasing cycle, your types of customers, and how potentially this software could help you. But I will say in these times, I think chasing any outstanding debt is more important now than ever before. And remember, potentially you can chase 100% of your customers 100% of the time. So you know you're asking them for it. And also it's going to stop things like copy invoice requests and things like that. A lot of people will use the rules just to send a courteous email 1 week before, say, please find attached your copy invoice. If there's any queries, let us know. Otherwise, we'd look forward to seeing your payment next week. It can literally be used as something as simple as that, which will make the difference of payment coming into you as well. Okay. So I'm just wrapping up now because I can see it's just about coming up for time. My details are on the screen. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ping me an email or give me a call. Obviously, please use your Enhance account manager as well.
Yeah,
now, Matt, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, I want to say that was a brilliant job. That was a brilliant job, on time, not fault you. As you rightly say, contact your Enhance account manager for help. Zoe's emails are on the screen. We do have may have some people on the call who are prospects. If you haven't got an account manager, by all means reach out to me, or you can contact us at sayhello@enhance.com. But yeah, that was really good, Zoe. Thank you very much. Very impressed. I did like chasing 100% of your customers 100% of the time. That's
Absolutely.
good at the moment. So very well done. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for sitting on the session, and take care, everybody. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.